with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News Nowcast.
Good morning on your Wednesday. I'm Mark Saul. Today we've got warm stuff in store, potentially record-tying, maybe even record-breaking heat. We'll get to that first warning forecast with meteorologist David Wolter in a moment. In the news, President Biden sticking with that August 31st deadline to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan. The president says the evacuation there is on schedule to wrap up by then, as long as the Taliban doesn't interfere with folks' access to the airport outside Kabul. Meantime, overnight, 2 U.S. congressmen came under fire after flying into Kabul's airport right in the middle of that ongoing pretty chaotic evacuation. Now, the move reportedly stunned the State Department and other U.S. military leaders who were diverting resources to provide security and information to those lawmakers. Talking about Massachusetts lawmaker Seth Moulton, Michigan Rep. Peter Meyer, both military veterans with backgrounds in Afghanistan. The pair said they went there in secret to gather information and to push the president to extend that August 31st deadline, which he has, of course, not decided to do. The U.S. Supreme Court allowing the revival of a Trump-era immigration policy. The justices declined the Biden administration's request to put the policy known as Remain in Mexico on hold. Now, this policy has migrants staying in Mexico while they wait on their U.S. immigration court dates. The program was terminated shortly after President Biden took office. But earlier this month, the states of Missouri and Texas sued, challenging the end of that program, saying it was a violation of what's known as the Administrative Procedure Act. Well, we have seen overall COVID-19 case numbers here in Pennsylvania go back up in recent weeks, but we're also at the same time seeing more people get vaccinated. Pennsylvania reported close to 2,800 new COVID cases on Tuesday. Yeah, that's a climbing number. So is the one of folks in Pennsylvania hospitals with COVID-19. 81% of Pennsylvania adults now have reportedly received at least one dose of the vaccine, 65% considered fully vaccinated. And just last Friday, Pennsylvania had one of its biggest vaccination days in the past month or so. The state gave out more than 10,000 first doses. Just 5 days left until the return of more than 10,000 students within the Erie School District. And tonight is a chance for some of those students and their families to get their back-to-school questions answered. It's a district-wide open house. Erie News Now's Molly Samora has a preview.
Students at Erie Public Schools are preparing to head back into the classroom on Monday. So to prepare, tonight from 5 to 7, elementary students will be able to see what their classroom's going to look like. Middle schoolers can from 5:30 to 7:30. And students that go to Erie Higher Collegiate have the opportunity to walk the halls from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight. Assistant Superintendent Teresa Sumagala tells me tonight's open house is all about meeting their teachers, learning about the programs, and seeing where the success will happen this school year.
Some of our kiddos have not been in our buildings for almost a year and a half, so we're excited to have them back. They can see what their classrooms look like. They can hopefully see some of their classmates, and they'll be able to meet their teachers, so we're excited for that as well.
Molly Samora reporting there. The first day of classes for the students at Erie's Mercyhurst Prep High School, that's tomorrow, the date of the school's first football game. Still kind of up in the air this morning. Mercyhurst Prep leaders say with multiple football players testing positive for COVID-19, they've decided to cancel their first scheduled football game of the new season. That was supposed to happen Friday. School officials tell us those players who tested positive, some others who came into contact with them, they're now all in quarantine. Football is one of the things the CDC considers a high-risk activity because it involves that close, sustained contact. The United Way of Erie County is getting some new leadership. The agency this morning says its president, Chief Professional Officer Bill Jackson, is going to retire at the end of the year. Jackson has served as the United Way's local president since 2009. They say he'll take on the role of president emeritus. And the United Way says Lori Root's going to be promoted to the role of president effective immediately. She's been the senior VP at the Erie County United Way for the past 7 years. Jackson's list of accomplishments during his tenure as United Way boss include implementing what's known as the community schools strategy at 11 local schools, also launching that Imagination Library program to make books available to young kids. Well, it's one of those extra hot days that probably has anything frozen at the concession stands down at the Crawford County Fair, selling big time. We're heading into day 5 of that 8-day event down near Meadville. You have lots of agriculture a part of the Crawford County Fair. They call it the biggest agricultural fair east of the Mississippi. This Wednesday is also Career Opportunities Day at the fair. They've got some drag racing and single horse draft hitch on tonight's schedule. That Crawford County Fair runs right through this coming Saturday. And yeah, we had talked about that potential for tying or maybe even breaking a record high temperature today.
Yeah, temperature's going for roughly 90 degrees, and right now we're just about 10 degrees away from that. We're looking outside down by the bay front as we've had some boating activity out there on the bay. And it's going to feel pretty good if you're heading down to the beach today. That lake water is very warm, but certainly enough to cool you down. Right now, some areas of clouds. We've been watching a couple of very isolated showers a little bit farther to the west. Best bet for any sort of wet weather today would be into the afternoon. 80 degrees right now feels like 84 just because that humidity is up. And we've got the heat and humidity, a possible record, at least tying high for today, and we've got some of those storms coming up as we do work our way into the afternoon. Temperatures right now, you can see upper 70s and lower 80s, and the humidity is making it feel much more miserable out there. If you are out in that direct sun, you certainly feel the heat, and we've had this tropical moisture in place, tropical-like moisture in place for the last several days, and this will continue as we do look ahead down the road. You can see that we're either humid, very humid, higher up there on the scale through the weekend. But next week, start to get a cold front to come on in, and that could nudge down those humidity levels, but it's also going to bring with it a little bit of added rainfall. Right now, Prescott looking great, but as we get towards the latter half of the afternoon, that's when we could have a few of those scattered storms around. We've noticed a couple of complexes of rain in Ohio this morning. This one basically fading on out, but the remnants of this little cluster right here will try to reactivate as we do get into the afternoon. You can also see some heavier showers off towards northwestern parts of Ohio, and that's generally going to stay out that way. Still, these showers, they will be reappearing as we do get into the afternoon as things heat up, but you can see a little shower passing on by the lake shore, nothing over land right now, and you can see that Futurecast will bring in some of those isolated showers, maybe as early as 12, 1 o'clock, but really as we get to 3, 4 o'clock, that's when the atmosphere tries to fire out a few more of those storms. This is getting us into the evening hours, still a bit of activity around. And then for the day on a Thursday, may have the better bet for some of those storms away from the lakeshore, but we certainly do have those opportunities in the forecast. Your zone outlook for today, we're expecting temperatures into the lower and middle 80s. We'll watch for some of those storms into the afternoon. Actually, some spots near the lakeshore will be closer to that 90-degree mark today, well into the 80s, certainly a hot one at the Crawford County Fair. And out there into Warren County, we've got the heat as well. Temperatures, I think, will top out at about 90 degrees for today. We'll see if we have any more 90s in the forecast and get you ready for the weekend coming up in just a moment.
All right, thank you, David. We all know rapper Kanye West, but you might not be calling him by that name, legally anyway, for much longer. That's because Kanye West has petitioned to legally change his name to Ye, or perhaps it's pronounced Ye, but we're talking about the letters Y-E. That's all according to legal documents obtained by the folks at Variety. Those documents indicate that Kanye's reason for changing his name personal, really gave no other explanation. It was a title of an album that he put out back in 2018. I'm kind of confused on the pronunciation, though, because Kanye said in interviews that along with Y-E being a shortening of his first name, Kanye, he likes those two letters because it's a word, Ye, that's often used in the Bible. So yeah, I'm not sure quite how to pronounce it. But in order for all of this to be official, a California judge is going to have to sign off on that Kanye name change. We'll keep you posted. Well, the folks at McDonald's can't blame a broken ice cream machine for a lack of milkshakes over in the UK. They're actually blaming the pandemic and Brexit. Yeah, McDonald's says nearly 1,300 of its locations in England, Scotland, and Wales had to stop selling those shakes, experiencing staff shortages and what they're calling supply chain delays. The folks at McDonald's say they are working to bring those shakes and other menus back, other items back onto the menu, but certainly no timeline just yet. Well, we need plenty of milkshakes, anything frozen, semi-frozen, to help us make it through this extra hot day, David.
Oh yeah, we got the hot stuff going. I swear, I've never seen anybody successfully get a milkshake from McDonald's before, because I thought it's mandatory that their ice cream machines don't work. I think they leave out a part and they're figure out what it is. We'll fix it for you later. All right, as we look ahead over the next few days, some scattered storms in the forecast. Temperatures 90 degrees today would tie that record back in 2012. I think most of the day we're going to be in the upper 80s, but of course if we hit that 90-degree mark, that would be the record tire right there. And later on in the week, you can see that temperature still in the middle 80s. A few passing storms out there. May see a couple more as we get into the weekend. Cold front starts getting a little closer. That's going to enhance those rain chances into early next week. And then by Tuesday, it could be cooling things down just in time for the last day of August. So September, we might be bringing in a little bit of cooler air, but stay tuned. Obviously, we'll keep you up to date. We'll get next Wednesday to show up in that 7-day forecast. That, of course, is with John Salin later on today, and his first warning weather forecast is at 5 o'clock. Mark.
All right, thank you so much, David. We got 30 minutes of news coming your way at noon on WSEE. We'll have another edition of the NOWCAST about the same time tomorrow. And 2 hours worth of news starts at 5 a.m. It's Erie News Now Sunrise Thursday edition, and we'll see you then.